What's up, Make Pop Music? It's Austin here from Make Pop Music and Austin Hall Audio, and today we are back with another video. And for today's video, I wanted to focus a bit on building a production in the style of dark alternative pop, very similar to what you hear from like Bella Poarch or Olivia O'Brien or DeathByRomy. Anybody that's going to have that dark kind of, circusy vibe that's going to have really, really nice 808s and drums, and then just really have these like ambient dark bells and weird kind of percussive little noises on top. So I'm super excited to do this. You've all requested this one a bunch. And to make it more exciting, for today's video, we're only going to be using sounds from Ana2 Ultra, which is the new Slate update, but we'll get to that in just 1 second. But everything today will either be a preset or we'll be making our own sound from the noises and wavetables from Ana2 Ultra. I guess that segues into our next thing. Today is sponsored by Slate Digital. Thank you so much to Slate Digital for actually reaching out. What they want to do is they want to bring a little bit of light to Ana2 Ultra, which is an all-new update that they've done. If you're not familiar with Slate Digital or with Ana2, the original version, let me just fill you in. Slate Digital is basically a plugin developer owned by Steven Slate. It's a super, super amazing company. You'll probably see me use their stuff quite a bit in our videos. And they make a ton of their own plugins that you can either buy a la carte or, more excitingly, you can get in a subscription bundle. And if you do that subscription bundle, you actually get that paired with some Kilohertz plugins and you get it with Ana2. But they just decided to add on to that and make it even more exciting. So Slate Digital actually put together Ana2 Ultra, which is 6 all-new libraries that basically range from cinematic, sad trap, you've got Detroit, and a bunch of others that we'll cover in this video. And each pack comes with their own kind of signature sound style, tons of presets, tons of noises and wavetables, and you've also got new skins for Ana, which we'll kind of browse around. Makes it a little bit more exciting to get around. But today we are only going to be using the additions for Ana2 Ultra. What's really exciting about Ana2 Ultra is Slate Digital is so pumped that they're going to keep releasing preset packs and libraries every month. We are really, really excited to be working with them. I love the company, so it's always really flattering when they reach out. But if you want to actually download Ana2 Ultra, if you're already a subscriber of the All Access Pass, you can just go to your installers folder, run that little update, and you'll get all new 6 skins, and you'll get all new 6 libraries. So tons of stuff that you can go through. If you're not part of the All Access Pass, you can hit the link in our description, and it'll take you and kind of show you everything you get. Again, you get all of the Slate Digital plugins, you get a ton of Kilohertz plugins, and you get Ana2 with the Ultra update. And the best part is you can get that entire bundle for $9.99 for the first 6 months and then $14.99 every month after that, which to me is a no-brainer. I mean, we're literally about to make an entire production today with only Ana2 Ultra, and to even go a little bit farther, we're only going to process any of the stuff with post-processing with any of the Slate or Kilohertz plugins that also come in that bundle. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll kind of see everything that Ana2 Ultra has to offer and some of the other goodies that you'll get in that Slate All Access Pass. But again, thank you so much to Slate Digital for actually sponsoring this video, and thank you to all of you in our audience who are very receptive to our sponsors and who support us to do things like this. So we're super excited, but without further ado, let's actually hop in the DAW and get creating a track. All right, now we're actually in the DAW. I just want to take a really, really quick minute to kind of show you through Ana2 Ultra, show you what everything has to offer, and then we'll actually get creating. So here we go, we're in Ana2 right now, but if we look right here, we've got Ultra Cinematic, which is pack number 1. Basically, cinematic is going to be stuff inspired by like movie trailers, really, really, really nice dark pads, atmosphere sounds, effect sounds, stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm using that for mostly. Then we have Detroit, which can be like Motown inspired, but I found that it works really, really well for R&B and hip hop. So I'm sure we'll be taking some stuff out of this today to kind of give us that hip hop vibe. Eurorack, which is really cool. This kind of has the vibe of like a modular synthesizer. Really, really nice for like cool little 80 sounds, weird little ARPs, stuff like that. Has a lot of extra character that you're not going to find in some of the factory presets. And then we have Ultra Factory. This is kind of where they expand on what Ana2 was originally designed to do, which is like tons of different subgenres of electronic music. So if you're looking for just really good stuff for like tropical pop, house, future bass, Ultra Factory is probably going to be where you can go, and you can see right here that I've already started starring stuff just because I really, really liked it. Pro tip, whenever you download something, if you want to go through, spend like an hour just starring your favorite presets, it'll help save a little bit of time in the future. Then we have SD1. This is going to kind of give you that lo-fi vibe, very similar to like some of the 80s and 90s keyboards. A lot of them have some noise layered in. You're going to find some like really cool pitching and like detune areas in a lot of these. The plucks and keys on these are really, really, really fire. So I really, really enjoy this pack. And then Sad Trap, which is probably going to be a big fan favorite because this genre is so in right now, is going to be that kind of melodic sad trap similar to like Juice WRLD, Ian Dior. So lots of kind of lo-fi, kind of like bells, guitars, keys, stuff like that. And then the 808s in this pack are absolutely insane. This is going to be exactly where we need to go when we're searching for like a really, really, really fire 808. And then that's just the kind of baseline 6. We'll be kind of going through those a little bit more as we create. And then you can go to your settings right here, and this is where your new skins are. So I have it to where it'll basically always leave my skin on Eurorack, because to me that's my favorite. I like the way it divides up every color block. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the others. You've got the cinematic one right here. You have Detroit right here, which is also really cool. It kind of reminds me of, you know, like samplers and romplers in the early 2000s, which to me it's just a really cool look. Sometimes the white on blue is just a little bit much for my eyes. Eurorack, which is my personal favorite. To me, this just divides every section up and is really, really easy to follow. And then we have Factory, which is really, really cool. It's kind of similar to like the traditional Ana2, but you've just got everything that's kind of got this like night vision, almost like inverted vibe, which I really, really like. I love teal and purple color schemes. So Factory is also one that I'll go for quite a bit. Sad Trap is really, really cool because it's almost got this like street art graffiti vibe. It's really, really cool because every area is separate. Like, it's really easy to differentiate the filters and the LFOs and the macros. So if you like a little bit of separation, that one might be good for you as well. And then we've also got the SD one, which is also one of my favorites. I love just the kind of whitish gray with all of the different color knobs in each section. Again, super easy to follow. So you can either have this change whenever you swap to a library, it'll pop it on automatically, or you can kind of leave it on one as the default. And so for this video, I'm just going to leave it on Eurorack. That way we're not going back and forth a million times. But this is my favorite. Now that we did that little rundown of Ana2 Ultra, I kind of showed you the packs and showed you some of the skins. Let's go ahead and let's start creating. So for this song, I know tempo-wise, we're going to need to be a lot slower than 120. Let's go to like 100 and see how that feels. It's a little slow. It's a little fast. Let's do like 103. .103 sounds really good to me. And then let's go ahead and let's start finding a sound. All right, so for the main sound, I kind of want to build this with like bells and weird key sounds. So we're probably going to be using a lot of that. So I'm just going to go through all of these and find a good bell. For this video, we will be kind of running in and out, and I'm not going to show you every selection just because we have to build a whole track in like 30 minutes. So let's get to it. All right, so I found this broken speaker bell, which I think is really, really cool. We'll probably change it around just a little bit, but in terms of like a main melody, let's see if we can get, I'm thinking about doing this in like C harmonic minor. Harmonic minor is basically just a minor key, so it would be C, D, D sharp, F, G, G sharp. But instead of going to A sharp right here for the 7, we're gonna go up to B harmonic minor. It's just basically the 7th goes up one semitone. So it already has that creepy circusy vibe, so now I just need to write a little melody. Cool, so I'm gonna go ahead and track that up and we'll kind of start building off of that. All right, so I got broken speaker bell right here, and the cool thing is a lot of these are velocity sensitive, so I just dragged the velocity down just a little bit. And then we should just do some processing, so I'm probably going to add a little bit of delay and reverb. I could add them in Ana2, however, I think I'm going to go ahead and use something like Repeater and Verb Suite just to give me a little bit of extra stuff. All right, so I got Repeater and Verb Suite just giving me a little bit of extra space, so we just got an 1/8 ping pong delay and a really, really long reverb, and then just cutting out the low end. And that to me is a really, really good kind of bass line. So let's go ahead and duplicate that up and start kind of finding an extra thing. So for this, instead, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like a custom bell, and I'll kind of show you, if you don't wanna use just the presets as they are, you can come right here, and I love Ana2 for the noises, so we can go to this right here. It's a little easier to find, downloadable content, Slate digital, and then you'll find all of the new things in here. So you've got Cinematic, Detroit, Sad Trap, SD1, Ultra, and this will kind of just give you access to all of these different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and build myself kind of a custom bell, and I'll show you what I do for that. All right, so I just made a quick little kind of bell patch using all of the stuff from Ultra. So we have the Celeste bell right here, and it's panned all the way to the left. We have a Celeste bell low panned all the way to the right. And both of them are the same octave, nothing's doing anything crazy. And then I also used a little waveform right here. Again, you can find the new ones right here. So I used the buzz triangle from the Euro rack. And this is kind of just giving me this nice little bell. And then we added some chorus, some bit crusher, and some delay and some plate. And this is just kind of giving us a nice little wide bell where it's not right up the middle, because we have the Celeste bell pan one side and then the low bell pan on one side, but they kind of just sit really nicely in the middle. So those are from the sad trap noises, and then the buzz triangle is from the Euro rack wavetable section. And then that mixed with that broken speaker bell actually has this really cool vibe. So it just adds a little bit of percussiveness to that, and the broken speaker bell can kind of start to be like this texture instead of like the main element. I'm gonna go ahead and layer up one more sound before we start doing anything else, and this is gonna be the high bell. And we're doing this because in this genre, a lot of the time they'll use like glockenspiels and stuff like that, and so I feel like we need something kind of similar. So what we're gonna do is we'll initialize this preset, and let's go ahead and let's find some kind of bell. I like Ana2 too because there's a search function, so let's go ahead and see what these have. Okay, so there's this tiny bell in Detroit, which I think is going to be perfect. Let's pan this all the way back to the middle. Cool, that's gonna give me a really, really good vibe. Now I'm just gonna post-process that a little bit. All right, so after making all of my final tweaks, I have Tiny Bell. I also added this little Aqua Bell in there too, just for good measure. And then just the Verbatron, which is kind of like the short, really kind of slappy room delay kind of mixture. And then we have just delay and plate in here. And I just wanna go ahead and EQ some of the rings out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so I just grabbed Infinity EQ. Just to get that one little frequency, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some ping pong delay with repeater, and then this will be done. All right, and then we're good to go. All right, now that we have those three bells, I think they're all working together really nice. We have this. But I think we need some kind of musical bed under it, so let's go ahead and let's start putting in some pads. So I found this Noisy Talk Boxer pad in Cinematic, which is really cool. It's kind of got this vibe of an organ. And it's got enough kind of initial transient where it doesn't just kind of swell. However, it's not something super aggressive and abrasive like a key sound. And the only thing I really want to add to this is Kilohertz Haas, just to spread it out a little bit. All right, so I added Haas on. Let's take a listen now. Just makes it a little bit more atmospheric and kind of spreads it out a little bit so it's not in the way of those little bells. And let's go ahead and layer up one more pad sound just to create that kind of musical bed. All right, I browsed a little bit. I found this really, really nice pad. It's called Watching in Sheer Terror. It's from Ultra Factory. Let's go ahead and take a listen. It's almost got like this creepy little like wind noise under it that kind of swells. And to me, I think that'll just add a really nice atmosphere under everything. And these two pads are doing nothing crazy. They're just playing like the fifth chords that go all the way down. So I'll let you kind of see the MIDI as we play it through. But here's all the synths, and I think this will be a good bed to build some drums on. All right, so I want to layer up some kicks and snares, so I just found a couple samples real quick. The samples are probably the only thing that's not going to be from Ana2 Ultra. I know that the Slate bundle does have some samples. That's one thing we didn't mention earlier, is they do have like sample libraries, and they have some courses and stuff like that. I haven't had time to really dig through those too much, so I am just going to be using some kind of standard trap samples. I found this kick, which is super punchy. I want something that's gonna have some mid-range because we're probably gonna have a really gnarly 808, so I don't want something that's just like a short little subby kick. I kind of like that stompy kick. And then for snare, I just need something that's really trappy and something that's got a little bit of room. So we've got this between the two of them. And I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a quick little pattern. All right, so now we've got a kick and a snare. It's not doing anything insane. It just sounds like this. Nothing to really highlight, just all about finding a cool little pocket that kind of goes with that little syncopated bell lead. I do just want to layer up the snare, so I am going to add a couple little snaps. We'll probably use those in the verse when we start building it up, but I'm going to go ahead and add some snaps and some hi-hats now for some extra texture and backbeat. So I just got a couple little hi-hat loops and a little snap right here. So the snap is 2 snaps happening just to give it some extra texture. And I just process that with some Verb Suite and some stock EQ. We got a little hi-hat right here, and then we got a little hi-hat doing some nice little fun, you know, trappy rolls. So all the drums together so far. And I just want to build that groove before we start adding more stuff. All right, now for the fun part. This is actually one of my favorite things on Ana2 Ultra, and that is the 808s. I know immediately that we are going for the Sad Trap pack because the 808s in here are just ridiculous. So I'll go ahead and kind of scroll through some of those for you. All right, so we've got Baby, which could be really sick. We got Bands, probably my personal favorite, Bust Up. These all slap. So I'm just gonna pick one, throw it in there, and then I'll kind of show you what I do. All right, so I found an 808. We are gonna go ahead and use that Bands 808. And then for the pattern, I'm really just following the kick and then the kind of root note. So here's what it sounds like with drums. Oh, hold on. Got dragged back a little bit. Let me drag it over here. Here we go. And those little 808 kind of like slides or play ups are literally just played an octave up. And so I just played that out real quick. We've got some synths right here. And I don't want the 808 to do too much, but the only thing that's happening is it is sidechained to that kick just a little bit. You could use pretty much any compressor. I'm just using the stock one out of Cubase because it's really fast. And we're starting to get the vibe. So right now what I'm doing is just building up all the elements, and then in just a couple minutes we'll probably start arranging this whole thing as a track with verses and pre-choruses and a chorus. All right, so I just added a couple little impacts and like a scream, just some backbeat stuff. Nothing crazy, just want a little bit of impact because this will probably end up being the hook in just a bit. Let's go ahead and start arranging a verse. I feel like this is definitely gonna be the pre-chorus. So what I like to do is just pull everything back and then copy this over. And then what that does is it kind of gives me a blank template. And then I'll just, honestly, I'm probably gonna get rid of all of these synths because I wanna add some new synth lines. So we'll keep the drums and the 808s. We'll get rid of some of these. We'll get rid of these hi-hats, I think. And let's see what we have. Honestly, let's get rid of the snare too. All right, so we've got the kick from the chorus, we've got the snaps from the chorus, but I've pulled the velocities all the way up, and we've got that 808 from the chorus. I just want some kind of lead, but I don't want something as busy as that chorus lead, so I'm probably just gonna do... Yeah, let's do something like that, just something really, really simple. So I played that, quantized it, pulled it up an octave, and I'm just gonna use it on that clock bell because I want the verse really light. That feels pretty good as a lead melody for me. The next thing I kind of want to do is everything's so kind of syncopated, and I don't really want any crazy hi-hats happening at the moment. I think we should add some organs that are just kind of playing like these 8th note kind of bar chords. And that will add that kind of churchy, weird, you know, gothic gospel vibe, but it'll also give me a little bit of texture and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at some of these Ultra libraries for some organs. All right, so I found this Scott organ, really cool, subtle, creepy. Yeah, so it'd be... That's kind of giving me everything I need. I am just going to shorten up some of these releases. I want it to be a little like stabbier. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down. That feels pretty good to me. All right, so we've got the Scott organ right here. You see, it's just kind of adding that steady, like 8th note, kind of quarter note vibe. I just want to add some Haas again to kind of spread that out. All right, so I added Haas and a little bit of a shelf EQ with Cubase's stock EQ. You can see it just opens up that stereo space, kind of gives me a bit more room, and then I want to layer that organ with maybe one more organ that's got a little bit more texture. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I found the tube organ. I think this is going to be perfect for what I need. It almost has this like Mellotron, like weird, creepy, organy string vibe, which layers up really nicely actually with the Scott organ. And that's just giving us a little bit of kind of extra width and texture on top of that other organ. And I think we need some kind of like background melody, like something to just play a little call and response. So I'll go ahead and figure out something for that right now. All right, so for this counter melody, I found this start bell patch. I think this is gonna be perfect. It's filtered out, it's nothing too crazy. I made a couple little tiny tweaks to it, but I think that that's gonna work. So let's go ahead and do something. I'll track that. All right, I should go ahead and let you know that I did process that a little bit with Virtual Mix Rack, just to add a little bit of kind of a channel strip to give it some vibe, and then Revival to give it quite a bit of extra shimmer since it is so filtered. And then I used Repeater, again, on the 1/8 ping pong, just to kind of put it in the same space as those other kind of glocks later in the song. And then I used the Kilohertz chorus to kind of give it a little bit of warble and spread. That versus this. So really nothing with the core sound change, it just has a little bit of extra kind of length and dimension and width. So all of that together is now sounding like this. Here we go. And that's gonna do it for that. The last little synth that I kind of want to add, or like key sound or whatever, is I want to add this big kind of church bell, because it's something that you'll hear a lot as a transitional noise in this kind of subgenre. So we'll go ahead and let's go back to making something from scratch. So I did find this kind of church bell that I think will work really well. This is the only one so far that hasn't been an Ana2 Ultra, but it is in the original kind of Slate bundle and a kind of edition. So if you buy Ana2 from the original Sonic Academy, it won't have any of the Slate stuff, and it definitely won't have any of the Ultra. So while this isn't Ultra, you do still have to have the Slate bundle for this. And honestly, I'm just gonna let it play through. I've just added some reverb, and that's it. I don't really need anything crazy on this whatsoever. So we've got this. And it's just, again, a transitional noise. Let's go ahead and post-process that. So for post-processing, I went ahead and kept it simple. I just notched out a couple little resonant things because I really just want the top end of this. I don't want it too boomy. And then I just added the lustrous plates from the Slate bundle. This was done by Liquid Sonics. They also did, I think, the BM7 addition to Verb Suite. So this is a really, really good, just quick kind of plate reverb. And that from this. So just a lot more kind of tail and space, but taking up less space in my mix frequency-wise. So that's feeling pretty good about the verse. I think let's go ahead and let's start copying this over, because I think we should start to add some hi-hats and stuff for the second half of the verse. Rather than copying it, I think we actually have enough space right here. So just when it repeats, which we already have in there, I'm gonna add this kind of backing hat loop. And that's gonna add a little bit of bounce, and then let's add a couple more things. The next thing I wanna add is I want some kind of reverse element. I feel like reverse elements do really well with this kind of creepy genre, and we haven't done one yet, so we could easily print those bells and reverse them, or print those organs. However, I think let's go a little bit above and beyond, and let's find a new sound, print it out, and then reverse it. All right, so in the Detroit pack, I just found this. It's like this like Tron-inspired wind sound, and it's super crazy. And I think that if I play that out, I can print that, and then I can reverse that, and that'll give me the vibe that I want. So I'm gonna play it real quick, print it, and then I'll reverse it. Let's do. In Cubase, all you need to do to print is just go to Edit, render in place, and render with current settings. So I'm going to print this down and then I'll reverse it real quick. So here we go. I just printed it out, and then in Cubase, if you want to reverse, I've already done it. You can just double click on the WAV file, and then you can go to add process, reverse, and then I just chopped it up. So pretty easy to do. If y'all want a tutorial on that, we can do a quick little Instagram one. But here we go. We've got this. Let's make that a little longer. So we've got this. All right, and let's go ahead and post-process this. So the first thing I want to do is add some distortion. I really want it to have a little bit of extra sauce. So we've got the kilohertz on hard clip. Adds a nice little bit of grit and texture in that reverse. The next thing I want to add is kilohertz Haas, again, to spread this out. We've done it a couple times already. Gives us a little bit of extra width, a little bit extra punch. Next thing we're going to add is kilohertz pitch shifter. We're going to turn it down an octave and turn the mix really low so we can kind of get some thickness. And then let's do one more thing. All right, I've got some EQ to just take out some of that muddy low end and boost some of that high end so it doesn't get too much in the mix. And let's hear what it sounds like all together. That feels pretty good to me. Before we go make a quick little pre-chorus, I just want to add one more hi-hat to just kind of thicken up this second part. I've just got a little high shells. And that feels pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and start making a pre-chorus. Let's go find ourselves a bass pad, because I know since we've had 808s going this whole time, I want that bass to kind of still be there very subtly, but I definitely want to lengthen it up, and I think what I'm going to do is extend these chords as well. So I know Detroit had some really cool bass pads. Let's see what we can find. All right, so the bass pad I ended up going with is actually Batty from the Sad Trap pack. It's just that kind of like very typical low kind of detune. It's got a nice little bit of pluck, and I just went ahead and turned the cutoff just down a little bit. And you can see right here that what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend these chords, and we're going to go from the 1 to the 7 to the 6 to the 5. So it's got that kind of chromatic rundown. Super creepy, kind of eerie. And then I added a little pitch bend with a pitch wheel right here and just made it 12 semitones. If you want to do that on any of these Ana presets, you can just change the pitch bend right down here and then just do it with your little wheel over here on your controller or automate it in. And let's go ahead and let's get some pads going that can kind of hold those same kind of chords, just extend it out a bit. All right, so I went ahead and played those chords on Watching in Sheer Terror and Noisy Talkbox. Here's what the chords look like. Just really nice ambient space, nothing insane. Let's go ahead and keep this kind of lead going right here just so it doesn't change up too much stuff. So let's do with the Glock bell, let's do the custom bell, and let's do the broken speaker bell. All right, so now we've got that same lead from the verse, which I feel like will be a nice parallel structure, and then we can go back to that lead that we created first. That'll be the hook lead, and we'll probably use that for an intro. So here we go. Sounds really sick. I just feel like we need some kind of extra layer that we haven't used yet, so I'm going to go ahead and find a bell to layer on top of all of these. All right, so I found this little magic music box again in the Detroit pack. Let's go ahead. It's really cool. It's got this like detuned music box vibe, which I feel like is super creepy, and that'll layer up and give some extra depth to all of these. I just want to add some effects and some impacts, which I can find in Ana2. The Ultra bundles have some effects, especially the cinematic pack, so I'm going to go ahead and find a couple and layer those in. I found this in the, I believe it was a cinematic, it's just the Imperial TIE explosion, and what I did was I reversed it so it sounds like this. And then I found this really nice impact right here that's just kind of this big downbeat. It's called Subsonic, and then I just added my own riser that's not part of the bundle, but here we go. Here's how that transitions from that verse into that pre-chorus. And then we'll transition out. And then we'll go into this chorus right over here. All right, so I arranged the chorus really quick off camera. We basically just kept one of the hi-hats, and then we've just got this bell. I definitely want to layer up some lead sounds, but nothing I used before is gonna work too well. But here's what I have. So basically just drums, 808, and bell. And then I brought in that little kind of stringtron, and then I did this cool little thing right here where I kind of pull out everything and do just this little kind of 808 gallop, and I'll kind of show you. It just literally plays the notes. So nothing insane, just played on the actual keys. And that's pretty much all we have going for now. Let's go ahead and start layering up that lead synth. All right, so I just found this really cool preset, Become So Numb. It is in the, I believe it's the Euro rack, and it's just super short, super stabby, and I think it works really well. It does have a little bit of noise behind it. You can either get rid of that or just gate it out. I'll probably just gate it, but let's hear how it sounds with nothing else on it. Adds a nice little bit of percussiveness. I do want to go ahead and take this to the next level, so let's go ahead and process. All right, so I just put on Haas. And this will just be my kind of wide element for this little pre-chorus or this little chorus / drop. Let's go ahead and gate out that sound. I just added a kilohertz gate, doing nothing crazy. Again, I could probably take it off in the original preset, but this is no harm, no foul for me. Let's go ahead and layer up that sound again. I need just a little bit more. All right, I just found this really cool harp attack preset, which I think could be cool, but I kind of have this idea to process it really weirdly. So let's use that harp attack preset, and I'm gonna add some phase distortion and really take this to another level. All right, I just added some phase distortion and I added some EQ. We'll go one step by one. So here's with that phase distortion. Taking out some lows and some highs, and now it just has this really weird, kind of creepy lo-fi quality. The harp works really well, especially if you were gonna have this as like a sung hook. If we're leaving this as kind of like an instrumental drop, I think the phase distortion just adds another element. Let's layer this up with probably one more sound. All right, so you all remember that broken speaker bell we had earlier? I feel like that would be a good time to come back. But we're gonna play it a little bit lower and a little bit harder, so it does have some low end from almost like a percussive room noise or like a rotary noise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna EQ that out and then add some of that phase distortion again. All right, so I went ahead and just did a kind of low cut right here up to 250, and then just scooped out some of those lows and boosted those highs, and then we really added sauce with this phase distortion. So let's hear it with nothing one more time. Add that EQ, add that EQ. And then add the weirdness. And I feel like that feels really cool with that harp and that becoming numb. And let's hear in context of everything. Let's check this. Awesome. All right, I feel like it's feeling pretty good. Let's start layering up some stuff and then wrap this one up. All right, so I took basically all the elements that we've used so far, different hi-hat loops, different, stuff like that, and I've basically extended this into a post-chorus, so we have this really kind of staccato-y drop. And then what I did is I layered in some of those pads, and then I layered in the original broken speaker bell, some of those organs, and basically made the Tron strings go a little bit faster, layered up some of the extra percussive stuff, and then I lengthened this 808 quite a bit, and then I have this really big post-chorus that feels a lot bigger than this little drop. So we go from this kind of ambient pre-chorus to that kind of minimal drop, and then we go into this really big post-chorus. And all of that stuff is stuff we've pretty much used by now. We just ended up kind of recycling it from different areas, where it's really cool because we have this kind of verse that feels minimal and different from this pre-chorus, which feels way different than the first half of this chorus. But then the second half of this chorus kind of merges the pre-chorus, the verse, and the first half of the chorus, and kind of gives us this really cool parallel structure where we're not having to keep adding a billion tracks, but everything that we are adding feels familiar but still adds to the total depth and space and width of the entire production. All right, the last thing I think I want to do is just add a quick little intro. So I'm just going to copy and paste some different elements. I think I'm going to take the main chorus pads and the main chorus lead, and I'll make just kind of an ambient intro, and then we can wrap this one up. All right, so here we go. I have these two pads and then the main chorus kind of lead bells. And then I ended up finding this distorted rain riser from Ana2 also, from Ana2 Ultra, I should say. And that just goes right into that, that little verse we made. The next thing I want to do, just last thing, I want to filter that out, and then I want to add a little tape stop, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I added a little bit of ring modulation to give it some like kind of bit crush vibes. I added the Infinity EQ doing some EQ sweeps to kind of filter this out, and then I added a tape stop. So here is the intro as we have it going into that verse. Let's get that tape stop. Here we go with the tape stop. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna just make a couple quick little cutouts for like areas where it needs to drop, and then let's show you guys the final. All right, now let's hear the entire thing all together. Again, remember, all melodic sounds, all synths, keys, pads, basses, everything like that was from Ana2 Ultra. A lot of the crashes and impacts were also from Ana2 Ultra. The only thing that really wasn't was like the kicks, snares, snaps, and hi-hat loops. But other than that, let's take a full listen to what we created today. And there we have it. We're going to end it there. We're not going to do a verse 2 because this is already running very long. That's it. All done with Ana2 Ultra. And there you have it. We just made an entire track only using Ana2 Ultra in the style of dark alternative pop. It's got that circusy vibe. It's got that kind of hip-hoppy trap vibe. And to me, this beat ended up coming out super, super sick. There's a number of artists I could see taking something like this. And this just kind of gets your toes wet into Ana2 Ultra and some of the other Slate and Kilohertz plugins. Hopefully this video will inspire you to go download that if you're already an All Access Pass member, because to me, Ana2 Ultra Ultra just made Ana from like here on my list of plugins all the way up to here. So I am super, super pumped about this. I've been using it a ton lately. And if you're not a member of the All Access Pass, hopefully this will kind of give you a push to go check out everything they have to offer with that super, super low monthly rate. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Once again, thank you so much to Slate Digital for sponsoring us on this one. If you want to read any more about Ana2 Ultra or you want to sign up for that bundle, go ahead and click the link in our description. But that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see more from us, you can head to makepopmusic.com. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff, and you can go check out all of our other content. But we'll be back next week with another video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave some comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because it helps us out a ton, and go show some love to Slate Digital. Much love, everyone. Peace.